Bare necessity, but simple bare necessity. Bare necessity, but simple bare necessity.
Hey there, it's Brie and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a tag that I was tagged in by Brianna from Four Paws in a Book. I almost said her old name again. Okay, I have located the questions. Let's see if I can pull this off without having prepped at all. Okay. Question number 1. Oh, I will have the original linked down below if I can locate it, as well as Brianna's video will be linked. And yes, okay. Question number 1 is Sorry Not Sorry. The first book that you could not stop gushing about. Well, that's easy. I'm gonna go with a whole series, and that is The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. Or like really just the whole Shadow World by Cassandra Clare, like all of these books. Now, I don't know that I necessarily gushed about these when I first started my channel. I don't know that I necessarily gushed about any specific book, but I know that these are always in the background, and I try to be careful not to talk about them too much because I know that other people are, but I wanted to really bad. Thank you. Next, the first book you wish you had DNF'd. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna go to Goodreads. I'm gonna go to my books. I'm gonna go to Read. I am going to reverse the sort by date read. You know what book? You know what book? Do I still have it? Hang on. I could probably do multiple books for this. But, okay. Not me standing on a spinning chair here. Well, I don't see it, but it's called The Lightkeeper's Daughter. No. Not a fan. No. I don't think I have it anymore. Good riddance. Number 3, Working Wonders, the first book that helped you get through something hard in your life. Well, crap. I already answered this question. They're literally the reason that I make videos, because this is what got me through. Like, I mean, I was a reader, but I hadn't ever needed books as much as I did when I read this series. Like, I had never needed books in my life so much until the point where I happened to pick this series up. This was what I picked up at the time that I needed books the most. That was when I read this the first time. And it got me through some of the worst years of my life. And it also triggered a delve into the internet. Because see, at this point I was watching beauty videos, makeup and hair videos most of the time if I was watching YouTube, because I had gone from watching dance related videos to watching makeup and hair videos to then I started like trying to see if there was, I think I was looking, at one point I was looking for pronunciations for some things in this because I wanted to see if I was pronouncing them right in my head. But also I was like, what if I did like makeup stuff but related to books? Like, I know that's super niche and like not everybody would be into it, but like that would be a cool way to inspire my like makeup looks or whatever. That was one of the ideas that I originally got. But like I was like looking around, I don't remember exactly what I searched, but I was like searching like things relevant to this series, and that is how I found BookTube. Because I found a book Utopia because she had made a video related to Shadowhunters because she was obsessed for a minute there. And that's how I found BookTube. And so I found her, and I found Emma, and other people who were obsessed with this series, as well as a bunch of other people that were not obsessed with this series necessarily, but were on BookTube, and that is where it all began. So, number 4, Don't Turn Out the Lights, the first book that gave you chills. Now, I don't necessarily get scared by books. per se. But now, I didn't used to really read anything dark. It wasn't until I got my Nook that I really started exploring like titles outside of what my mom had read. So she read a lot of Regency Christian fiction because she was like very into like the Regency era, like the Jane Austen era type stuff, or like the Old West stuff, like that kind of stuff was very much her thing. And like romance, but not like romance, more like Christian romance. That was her deal. That was her thing. That was her jam. All good stuff. So that's what I had a lot of in my youth because it's what my mom loved. So I watched it with her and I loved it. I did enjoy it, but I didn't really read any or watch anything spooky or creepy so much until later on. But you know, one thing I did read was called Truly Madly. And it was like a mystery thriller. And they found bones. And it was spoopy. For little me at the time. Because like, I mean, I was like maybe 12 or so. So it was spoopy. 5. Can I get my time back, please? The first book that made you angry. Ooh, wow. That kind of is similar to the DNF question. Let's see here. The first book that made me angry. Oh my god. You know what I'm gonna say? This Lord of the Flies. I hated it so much when I had to read it in school. I don't know if I would still hate it now, but oh my god, I hated it so much. I hated it. Oh, it was not for me. Out of comfort zone, the first book that made you fall in love with a genre you'd never really explored before. The first memoir I've ever loved, Persepolis. Talked about this in a recent wrap-up video, so if you want to hear my thoughts, go find it. Go find my recent reads videos. I know people don't want to talk about this series, but it did make a very big difference for me with sci-fi. I had never really loved a sci-fi until this series, for sure. So I do want to go in here and talk about one thing. So, as a kid, I read some fantasy, but then I got into my, phase where I started reading like adult and like, so then I was reading the same books my mom was reading. And then I got exposed to this whole new world when I got my Nook. And so I dabbled in a little bit of, this and that. But the book that really changed the game and like actually like got me into reading some of the more popular books, reading some YA books, reading some fantasy and dystopian and stuff like that, has to go to The Hunger Games. And I didn't read it because it was popular. I read it and then I stopped reading it because it started getting popular. I read the first 2 books and then everyone was starting to read it, and so I was like, well, I'm not going to finish reading it. Oh, why was I that person? I was trying to be the hipster of reading, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just don't like reading stuff when it gets super hyped or popular. I'm weird. I am who I am. Now that I'm in BookTube, though, it's been a little bit different. I'm not as like put off by hype all the time. Sometimes I am. There are certain books like Evelyn Hugo. Haven't read it because it's insanely hyped. That's an example. But there are other things that I'm like, I've read it. It was hyped. I don't care. I read it. I don't know how to explain that. We're gonna move on. I'm getting off topic. Okay. Mirror Image, the first book that made you feel known. Oh crap. Oh no. So, this is a hard question for me to answer because there are so many books, so many that I feel seen by in certain aspects, and it's a different aspect for each book that I feel seen by. So it's like each book that I feel represents a part of who I am and what I've experienced in my life or what I deal with in life. It's a different book, or like different books, like it resonates with just one part, you know. But this book I'm going to talk about made such a huge difference in my life, because up until this point I had never really fully accepted a certain aspect of myself, and that is my mental illness, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, or like that's the key thing that I struggle with the most, because there's no real key magical answer to it, and it's something that, you know, growing up I never really had much of an opportunity to like deal with it, because we didn't understand it, we didn't know that it was a thing that needed to be addressed. There's a lot of reasons, but Turtles All the Way Down is only one person's experience, of course, but and it only speaks from the author's, you know, life. But as an Own Voices book, and as an Own Voices reviewer, I do want to go back and reread this and just do a full discussion on an Own Voices review of this book. But there were some elements and some aspects that I had never seen talked about in a book before. I had never seen anything to do with excoriation discussed in a book before. And that's one of my biggest challenges that I face. With my OCD, that's one of my biggest obsessions, or my biggest compulsions, really. Because obsessions are more thoughts. But that's one of my biggest compulsions. And so seeing, you know, kind of a representation of the compulsions, because the obsessive thought, I feel like, is a little bit more easily understood by the general average person, and is a little bit more commonly referred to because it, you know, connects with anxiety. But the compulsive behaviors are just something that you can't understand unless you've lived through it. And this book was the first time I'd ever seen somebody else picking at something on their own skin over and over and over and over and over again, and building up a callus there. Like, I'd never seen anybody else do that in a story before. And it's something I've lived with my entire life almost, and never, like, it took years for me to, it wasn't even until college that I realized that it was part of my mental illness. I need you guys to understand how out of that realm I was even thinking. Like, I didn't even realize that it was an issue. I didn't connect the dots because I never had the opportunity to learn that. And it's not, you know, something that is like my parents' fault or anything. It's just the dynamic of the culture around mental health has changed so much in the last few years that was just not present for my young life. And then since then, it's been something that I've put off taking care of to the fullest. I've tried a couple times to take care of myself better in that regard, and like go and actually take care of going to a therapist, seeing somebody to really, you know, get further care for some of the things that I need to work through. But I haven't done as much as I should do, and so many things about this book just changed the game for me. Is hop aboard the Wayback Machine, the first book you reviewed on YouTube. Now, I have never done a review, so I'm going to try to go back and find out the first book that I talked about, Books A Million, because I know that... So I picked up Allegiant. So the first book I ever hauled on my channel was Allegiant, and it was this paperback, and like an idiot, I have a paperback, and I'm probably going to get rid of it because I have them both in paperback and hardback, and I don't really know why I have them in both. Because I originally read them in digital format and I wanted to have a physical copy. I'm dumb. The first book in this wrap-up is City of Lost Souls. Are we surprised? I'm not. That's all I got for you guys for this tag. This process was longer than I should have gone. Oops. My bad. So, hope you guys enjoyed this random kind of chaotic tag response. Thanks, Brianna. I shouldn't blame you for the fact that I'm being chaotic in this video, but I'm gonna blame you anyway because you made me do it. Yeah, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed my chaotic energy. More videos coming soon. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time it is for you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I will see you guys soon with another one. Peace out, Bear Scouts.
Look for the bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your stress. I mean it, bare necessities. That's why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. Yeah, with just the bare necessities of life.